Howdy, and welcome to another episode of Someone Should Know. I'm your host, Lydia Shock. Welcome back, you guys, to another episode of Someone Should Know. Come on in. I'm really excited about today's episode. We're having just a cozy day together. So if you're watching on YouTube, we've got our spooky sweatshirt on because we're really kicking off fall and spooky season at this point. We've got a little cup of joe. We also have this candle burning, and it bodes mentioning because I've had this candle burning for, maybe 3 episodes now. And it is indeed a wood-wick candle, so it does have a little crackling sound to it. So apologies for that. That's my first podcasting 101 error, which is don't have a candle that makes noise in the studio, Lydia. Come on, that's freaking common sense. So please stay tuned for a new candle coming to the studio shortly. But in the meantime, you're just going to have to suffer through the crackle candle. It smells phenomenal. I wish I had smell-o-vision. You could smell it. So we're just having a cozy day together today. I'm filming this on a Sunday, so it seems kind of kismet to film this on a Sunday, given what we're talking about. Kismet because while we are filming this on a beautiful, cozy fall Sunday, we are going to be discussing what social media likes to refer to as the quote-unquote Sunday reset. So I'm going to talk a little bit about why I think quote-unquote Sunday resets are important, or just in general, setting yourself up for a successful week, why that's important. So let's sit here today on this Sunday and let's discuss how it's not really just about picking out your clothes for the week. So when I was in high school and I was going through my, fuckery era, as we could call it. And in that era of just me fucking around and finding out and being unhappy and all of the things, anybody who's ever struggled with a depression of that kind of size, I guess, of that depth, I guess, you guys can probably relate to me when I say that, like, I quite literally did not give one flying fuck what I looked like at school. Didn't care. Didn't care. I had so few fucks left to give. I could not waste one of them on what I looked like at school. I was just doing my best just to function for the day. Who cares what I was functioning in? And so my kind of quote unquote uniform in high school was, and if you knew me in high school, you know this is so true. My uniform was yoga pants, a t-shirt, and a big messy bun right on the top of my head. And I'm only 5'3", so walking the swarming hallways of a high school, that's how my friends could always find me, was my big bun on top of my head. They could just kind of see it bouncing throughout the hallway. Like, oh, there's Lydia down there. So that was my uniform, yoga pants, t-shirt, and a messy bun, because I just didn't have the energy or the bandwidth to give a shit about literally anything else. And I have this memory of one random day in school. I come downstairs for, who knows, probably the 30th day in a row in yoga pants and a t-shirt. And my mom goes, no, absolutely not. Go back upstairs and put something else on. And I was like, what? This is a clean t-shirt. And she was like, no, you're not wearing another t-shirt. Just go back upstairs, go find an outfit and go put it on. And I was like, mom's the worst. So I, scurry back upstairs all defiant, and I find a different t-shirt, one that is not clean and is off the floor. And I put that on. I'm like, ha, teenage rebellion at its finest. So I go back downstairs in my next t-shirt, dirty, wrinkled and all. What's up? No, absolutely not. Back upstairs. And this went on for probably about 3 or 4 t-shirts. No, back upstairs, put on a real outfit. I would go back upstairs, put on a different t-shirt, come downstairs. So finally she was like, fuck it. Just lets me go to school, right? And at the time, it being just like the shit ass teenager that I was, and I didn't understand what my mom was trying to tell me, I was just like, stop policing what I wear to school, Mom. God, it's so annoying. But what she was trying to tell me is that what you put into every day is what you're going to get back out of it. The little choices that you make day in and day out, they matter. They matter. And I know that you're thinking like, it's just a t-shirt. It's just a day at school. And for, some, arguments that is true. But these choices that you make day in and day out, they add up to the summation that is your life. And these little choices make a big impact over time. So today, someone should know that the small stuff does matter. Picking out your clothes for the week does matter. Looking and feeling good in your skin every day matters. Setting yourself up for a successful week so you're not scrambling, trying to figure it out as you go, matters. So again, it's really not about picking out your clothes. No. Picking out your clothes is a metaphor of how your future self is begging you to show up for them. They are begging you to show up for them. And we've talked about it before, and I'll talk about it until I'm blue in the face because it's so fucking important. But self-love is self-discipline. You have to love yourself enough to discipline your behavior. You have to love yourself enough to discipline your time, to set time aside, to set yourself up for success, even if that's not what you wanted to do right now. You wanted to play video games or sleep or whatever. And I'm going to relink that Will Smith video that we've talked about in the past in the show notes. So please go check it out if you haven't already. He talks about how self-discipline is self-love, and he puts it so eloquently and so perfectly. And once I heard him say that phrase of self-discipline is self-love, I've used it ever since because I think it's just so profound. I think it's genius. And it's so true. And it is so true. So I want to talk a little bit more about how these tiny choices that you make throughout your day and throughout your life add up to the person that you look back at in the mirror every day. And I want to talk a little bit about how I started. Because it did. It truly started with me picking out my clothes. So let me back up the story a little bit for any of y'all who haven't heard, but I struggled when I was a teenager, and one night shit hit the fan. Everybody found out, right? It was no longer a secret that I was struggling. Everybody knew. My parents knew. My friends knew. My friends' parents knew. Everybody fucking knew that I was struggling after this one particular night. And after this night was when I decided that like something's got to give. And if I don't make some serious changes in my life, I'm literally going to die. I am literally going to die. Either by my own hand or by fucking accident because I've been doing some crazy, dangerous bullshit. And it was truly my parents who got me into therapy and was like, you got to figure your fucking shit out. And I didn't resist them at all on that because I wanted to. I wanted to figure my shit out. And honestly, at that point, it was like, I don't have anything else to lose. So let's just like see what these ladies have to say. And if I don't fuck with what they're saying, I'll just kind of go back to my original plan. But thank God they were amazing. And I did listen to them because they saved my life along with my family. And in going to therapy, that's when I started to learn that like, actually, this was all my fault. Like as a teenager, I'm like, everything is my parents and my friends and my teachers and everybody's an asshole. And it's like, yes, people were assholes. That's true. But like the biggest asshole of them all was me. So that was really the first time that I began to heal. And I began to understand, and I began to make changes. And that started at the smallest, most actionable item that I could choose. And my therapists and I, we worked on this together, and it was picking out my clothes for school. Because they knew, my therapist knew, I came to therapy in the same shit that I came to school in. It was yoga pants, bun. And so my therapist was like, let's just start small on stuff that we can control, especially as a teenager, right? At 16, like so much is not in your control because you are not an independent person. You are very dependent on everybody. So you don't have a lot of control. You have to go to school. You have to listen to your parents. There's not a whole lot of things you can control at that age. But you know what I could control? Picking out my fucking clothes. Putting some effort into how I looked and felt every day. And so that's how it started. Me picking out my clothes the night before. I didn't even have it in me to like do it on Sunday, like the Sunday reset that we were talking about and, thinking ahead for the week. I didn't even have the bandwidth to like think ahead like that. So if that's you and you're like, I don't even have the bandwidth to think about tomorrow, let alone Friday, I get it. Just start with one day. And that's exactly what I started with. Tomorrow. What am I going to wear tomorrow? And I would pick it out, accessories and all. I would set it aside. And that's honestly how it started. And I know it sounds so like simple and almost like juvenile, but like, I don't know, just try it. Just try it because it did something. First of all, the self-love equals self-discipline aside, there is some truth to if you look good, you feel good. There is some truth to that. Now, I do think a whole separate conversation needs to be had on societal beauty standards and what is attainable and accessible in today's day and age. But aside from that, like just to put yourself together every day, just to brush your hair, to put some blue jeans on. And secondly, you guys are totally going to feel me on this. Doesn't your day start so much better when you have a calm, relaxing, to be expected morning versus a frazzled, running late, everything's catching me by surprise morning? So not only am I setting myself up to look good for the day, to feel good in my skin, but also I'm setting my nervous system up to have a regulated morning, to have a calm, regulated morning, and to start my day with some peace instead of some fucking And so this is what we're saying when we say it's not just about picking out your clothes. The small stuff matters because the small stuff compounds into other things. The simple act of picking out your clothes in the morning now results in you feeling good, looking good, having a calmer morning, having more confidence, having less decision fatigue, being on time, hopefully. So you just set yourself up to have 6, 7, 8 really awesome things happen as the result of one small action, picking out your clothes. That is what we are talking about. That is the point. The small stuff matters. The small stuff matters. The small stuff is your life. The little choices that we make day in and day out make up who we are. They are the summation of the face looking back at us in the mirror. These little choices that you make every day compound into self-worth, into confidence, into identity, into integrity. Integrity, that's a big one. That is a big one. Because how do you build integrity? I think it's a nuanced answer. We could probably do an entire episode on how do you build integrity. But I think a big way you can build integrity is by keeping promises to yourself. How often do you keep promises to yourself? I'm not even saying like I promise, blah, blah, blah. I'm just saying like you told yourself you were going to do something tomorrow. It didn't have to be in the words of a quote unquote promise, but you made a commitment to yourself to do something tomorrow. How often do you follow through on that? How often? Hmm. And then we wonder why we don't have any trust in ourselves. We wonder why our integrity's taken a hit when we are not a person of our word. When we said we would do something for ourselves and we didn't. To do what you say you're going to do, it builds trust in yourself. It builds integrity in yourself because, again, you are now a person of your word. You do what you say you're going to do, and that builds confidence. That builds integrity. I trust myself because I don't say I'm going to work out tomorrow and then don't, and then say it again. Oh, I'll work out tomorrow and then don't, and then say it again. Oh, I'll just work out tomorrow and then don't. You know how exhausting that is for your brain and your self-esteem? It's exhausting. And then there comes a time where you say to yourself, I'll work out tomorrow. And your brain whispers back, no, you won't. No, you won't. Because it knows that you're a liar. It knows not to trust you when it says you're going to do something. That's not what I want. I want my brain and my body to have trust in me. I want to do the things I said I was going to do. I want to be a woman of integrity. So how do we build integrity? Confidence, self-worth. We do what we say we're going to do. Even if we don't want to. Because self-discipline is self-love. So what is one small thing that we can do that will make our lives easier? One small thing. Well, I'm going to go over a couple ideas of some ways that we can show up for ourselves in advance, but I want you to ask yourself that question of what is one small thing that you can do for yourself this week, tomorrow, to make your life easier? Is it establishing a strong morning routine? Something that sets the tone for the day? Maybe it's something that's productive. Maybe it's something that's relaxing and slow. Maybe we can improve our evening routine. Can we make our evening routine derived of something intended with purpose? Can we have an intentional closing shift to shut down our house, to get ready for the next day, to put our mind and our body at ease at the end of the day? What about meal prepping? Can we make a healthy lunch tomorrow so we don't have to go to Taco Bell again? Just an idea. Can we maybe plan ahead to leave a little early so we can stop by Kroger on our way into the office and pick up stuff for lunch so we don't have to go to Taco Bell? Because I know that was what you just said. Oh, well, I don't have anything to meal prep. There are other options. How about at lunchtime, instead of going through the Taco Bell drive-thru, can I stop by Kroger real quick and pick up one of those tuna packets and a apple and call it a day? Whatever. Sounds awful, actually. Whatever. You get the point? A little pre-made sushi, whatever. There are options outside of Taco Bell. Can I schedule a couple workouts in this week? As someone who constantly says, I'm going to work out, and then I don't, and then I want to work out, and then I don't. If that's you, can you maybe schedule some workouts in this week and actually show up to them? Tuesday and Thursday, after work, 6 o'clock, I have an appointment with myself. Schedule it like an appointment, y'all. Like, that's how I have found for things like that. Truly things where you're like, ugh, I really don't want to. I don't even know when I'm going to be able to. Schedule it in. If you had a doctor's appointment at 4 o'clock on Thursday, guess where you would be at 4 o'clock on Thursday? Yeah, at your doctor's appointment. So schedule it in. Tuesday and Thursday at 6 o'clock, mom has an appointment in the gym with myself. You can do it. There are times, there are options. If you're a single mom, you're like, I can't work out at 7 o'clock. I have my kids. Put your kids to bed and then do a workout at 9 o'clock in front of the TV. There's plenty of free 30-minute YouTube workouts. PilatesBody by Raven. I'll tag her in the show notes. I love her workouts. Quick little 15, 30-minute Pilates workout in the living room. You don't need any equipment. You don't need to go anywhere. Your kids are in the other room. Enough with the excuses, you guys. Again, if you are the type of person who constantly says that you're going to do this and you don't, it is going to impact your integrity. It is going to impact your self-worth because you are going to think of yourself as a person who is not worthy of their word. Is that who you want to be? Oh, that's not who I want to be. So again, just start small. Picking out your clothes. Improving your skincare routine. Putting the house back together at night. Whatever. Start small. And then build on it. Little by little. Once you start getting your clothes picked out every day, now we start meal prepping. Once we start meal prepping, now we start scheduling in our workouts. When we start scheduling in our workouts, we start improving our morning routine, improving our evening routine. Little by little. You don't have to do it all at once. Pick one task. And once you feel like, yeah, okay, that is now a habit, that is now part of who I am, move to the next task. But if you want to be a person who does blank, whatever that is, you want to be a person who wakes up early, you want to be a person who works out, you want to be a person who is a person of your word, then just start by actually doing that. Just do that. There is no magic recipe. There is no secret advice I could give you other than just do it. Just be the person that you want to be. Just start acting like them tomorrow. I want to be a person that gets up early. Then just do that. Do that then. Here's one. I want to be a person who stops making excuses every step of the way. Then do that. Because the hard, honest truth is you are who you practice being. You are who you practice being. A couple examples. An Ironman. Somebody who finishes the Ironman. They're not just an Ironman because they said so. They're an Ironman because they practiced every day for months or years on end to be an Ironman. That's why they're an Ironman. A doctor isn't just a doctor just because they went to school for it. Well, yeah, I mean, kind of they are, but not necessarily. You know how many doctors went to school and then got their shit taken away from them because they're a shit-ass doctor? Plenty of them. Plenty of them. They practiced. They're a brain surgeon because they didn't just like, it's like the Barbie movie when Ken goes and he's like, I want to speak to a doctor. And she's like, you are speaking to a doctor. And it's like, that scene was so hilarious because like how asinine, how ridiculous to think that you could just walk into a hospital and be like, I'm a doctor. A musician. You think the first time they picked up a guitar, they were like, no. No. They sounded like me playing the guitar. They are a musician because that's who they practice being. You are who you practice. So if you want to be somebody filled with excuses and laziness and gluttony, I guess just continue doing that. Just continue to practice that, and that's exactly who you're going to be. I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be that person, and I imagine if you're listening to this podcast, you probably don't want to be that person either. Every choice that you make is a vote for the type of person you want to be. Every choice. Now, I don't expect you to get every choice right. I sure as shit don't get every choice right, but I try to get most of them right. I really do. I try to get most of them right. Because I want to be able to look at myself in the mirror at the end of the night and feel proud of who's looking back at me. And the only way for me to feel like that is if I am proud of the choices that that person has made. So I ask you, based on your current habits and routines, based on what you are currently doing, what identity are your daily habits casting a vote for? What identity are you getting out of the choices that you make? And do they reflect the type of person you want to be? If not, I suggest you change it, babe. I suggest you change it. And let's start small. Let's start small. I have this prompt written over here. And to be honest, I don't know how to weave it into the episode, so I'm just going to say it because it's so good that I don't want to leave it out. And the prompt is, how do you show yourself love through structure and consistency? How do you show yourself love through structure and consistency? And I wrote, taking time for yourself is an act of radical self-love. Taking time for yourself is an act of radical self-love. Self-discipline is self-love. And I think so often, like, we hear discipline and we think like punishment or discipline, right? But in this case, sometimes discipline is like, in this case though, self-discipline is self-love. Self-discipline is nurturing. Isn't that what love is, right? Love is nurturing. Love is care. Love is devotion. And to have self-discipline is to have all of those things for yourself. To have devotion, to have care, to have nurture towards yourself. Don't you deserve that? You deserve that. You deserve to treat yourself like that. And it's not easy, and some days are harder than others, but it is worth it. It is so rewarding to feel proud genuinely of who you are, to feel like if my life ended tomorrow, I'm happy with what I did here. I'm proud of the steps that I took and the impact I made on this earth while I was here. I'm proud of that. I hope you can say the same. And if not, let's start to change it. So as we wrap up our time together, let's reflect. What is one small thing you can do today to make your life tomorrow a little bit easier? What is one thing you can do today? I gave you guys a couple examples over here that I'm going to read off to you just to kind of keep you thinking, keep your brain churning on some small things that you can implement today to start making your life tomorrow a little bit easier. So I'm going to give you a few of the ways that I currently do this and a couple of the ways that I'm looking to improve on. We're always a work in progress. We're never done. Like I said a few moments ago, we build on these habits. Once you're done picking out your clothes and you feel like you've got that really well established, you pick a few more and then you pick a few more. So I've got a few that I feel are pretty well established and I have a few that could use a little attention. So the ways that I feel like I'm pretty consistent in these small acts of kindness are number one, consistent movement. You guys, moving your body is so important, especially if you are able to. There are so many people who would love to be able to get up and run down the street or to get up and, set a volleyball or whatever. So if you have an abled body, please do not take that for granted and use your body. Get some movement in. Consistent movement. Plus, endorphins make you happy, and happy people just don't kill their husbands. Number 2 here, Sunday reset. I didn't used to call this a Sunday reset until social media kind of made it a thing, but it is so important. I love doing a Sunday reset. And again, if you are incapable at this time of looking ahead for your whole week and resetting for the whole week, no worries. Just reset for tomorrow. Get the house put back together, get all the dishes put away, get all your laundry put away, get your clothes picked out for tomorrow. Reset your house, reset your space. My mom always said growing up, a cluttered space is a cluttered mind, and that is still true to this day for me. I cannot have a cluttered space. So reset your space, reset your home. And lastly, this is an important one, and if you don't have this, this is one that would be a great place to start as well, which is an after work routine. Instead of getting home from work and throwing on your pajamas and sitting on the couch for the next 4 hours, let's have a little bit more of a productive after work routine. Maybe we take a walk with the dogs, cook a healthy dinner, reset the house, take a shower, pick out our clothes for the next day. Again, it goes back to that setting yourself up for success by having an after work routine that works with you and allows you to be set up for success so you can truly relax and enjoy your evening without feeling like in the morning I'm going to be frazzled and running late because nothing is done. Because instead of taking 30, 45 minutes to set myself up for success, I sat on the couch for 4 hours. Again, little choices. It's ultimately your decision. You can do whatever you want. You can sit on the couch for 4 hours. Nobody's going to tell you not to. Or you can sit on the couch for 3 hours and take an hour to make sure that tomorrow morning you have an easy, restful, calm morning. But the choice is yours. So that is my call to action for you. You are going to pick one thing this week, one small act of kindness for yourself that's going to ultimately make your life easier. Maybe not in the moment, but in the long run, it will make your life easier. That is your action item for the week. Go find something small. You deserve to feel good about the way that you show up in your own life. And I hope you show up for yourself this week. All right, you guys. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Someone Should Know. I hope you took something small away from this episode that could change your life. Come back next week for another episode of Someone Should Know. See you then. Bye, y'all.